Now, today's message is with Unity's spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Wanda, and her message is titled, Being the Christ You Are, the Paradox of Dolly Parton. So, in preparation, we'd like to please welcome Gabriel again with an original composition entitled, Hang Around.
This is called Hang Around, and it's about all the things that you can do on the earth if you so choose. Hang around and stay in, hang around and go out, hang around and find places you can't live without, bang around in the dark, save the world, build an ark, it's the legend of being alive. We're all born way too early, and some die way too late. Our existence isn't chosen. There's no such thing as fate. Hang around in your room, hang around in your tomb, hang around and raise children from the next baby boom. Make your differences known, throw your favorites a bone. It's the legend of being alive. We're all born way too early, and some die way too late. Our existence isn't chosen. There's no such thing as fate. Hang around in your room, hang around in your tomb, hang around and raise children from the next baby boom. Make your differences known, throw your favorites a bone. It's the legend of being alive. It's the legend of being alive.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Lynn. So just take a moment here to get prepared. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, friends and members of Unity, our visitors and our guests, both present and online, And if you are watching this online, we invite you to come and sit with us in service. We would love to have you. So welcome to Unity of Fort Wayne. Welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Wanda, and I do hope and trust that you find this a place where you and your questions are welcome. And we begin our message by just pausing and intentionally acknowledging the abiding Spirit. In this moment, I quiet my mind, open my heart, and welcome the abiding Spirit. I choose to allow myself the possibility of a new perspective, one that is grounded in spiritual principle and in my infinite potential. In this moment, I am consciously open to what is possible, and so it is. When I was a kid, almost every week, my dad would watch the Porter Wagner show, okay? And this is where I first met Dolly Parton, way back in 1967. For those of you who may not be familiar with her at this age, I have a photo of her with Mr. Wagner. Okay? Way back from 1967. Dolly was in our home every week. Now, I find spiritual wisdom in a lot of different people. I find spiritual wisdom in a lot of events in a lot of different places. And Dolly is a country singer, one of those women whose wisdom I see. She's a country singer and songwriter who later expanded her career into actress, philanthropist, and businesswoman. She is known as the Queen of Country, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but we kind of got a theme going between the Dow of Willie and now Dolly Parton. I don't know how it happened, but here we are. So, Dolly has received 11 Grammy Awards and 3 Emmys, as well as nominations for 2 Academy Awards, including a humanitarian honorary Oscar win in 1925. She has also won 6 Golden Globes and a Tony Award. Wow. In 2005, she was honored with the National Merit of Arts, which is the highest honor given by the U.S. government for excellence in the arts. And on December 3rd, 2006, she received the Kennedy Center Honors for a lifetime contribution to the arts. Since the mid-1980s, Dolly has supported many charitable efforts, particularly in the area of literacy. Her literacy program, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, was founded in honor of her father, who could not read nor write. It mails 1 book per month to each child enrolled from the time of their birth until they enter kindergarten. Over 1,600 local communities provide the Imagination Library to almost 850,000 children each month across the U.S., Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and the Republic of Ireland. What an amazing feat. And what conviction she has for the future of our youth. Now here it gets real fun. In 2015, biologists named a newly discovered lichen found in the southern Appalachians after her, in honor of her music and her efforts to bring national and global attention to the region. And an asteroid number 10731, was named Dolly Parton, and that was in 1922. And I share all this with you because on any account by any measurement, she is and has been an accomplished woman for over 60 years. And I do see spiritual wisdom in her. when several years ago my niece lived in Knoxville, and so visiting her, well, you have to go to Dollywood. You have to go to Dollywood. And I tell you, it is a lot of fun, okay? It's tacky, and I loved it, okay? I'm just going to tell you, I loved it. You can go into her museum, and there's all of her costumes, and she's got all kinds of rhinestones on them and fringe. I admire Dolly because she is not a wallflower. She is not ashamed of who she is, nor is she ashamed of where she came from. I love it. I love it. And I am a girl who was taught to be a wallflower. And I'm going to admit, I'm going to be real vulnerable here. For years and years and years, most of my life, I would never wear red because I thought it made me stand out too much. And then a couple years ago, I bought a red, I wear it, this red paisley, kind of a raspberry color. Got it for $1 at the thrift store. See, I could be as tacky. So that's the only thing red that I ever have worn. So thank you, Dolly, for some courage. But I got to tell you, I do find her a paradox. She's kind of a paradox. And although her appearance comes off as unreal, I mean, if you've ever seen Dolly, she's going to really come off unreal. Or some say she might come off kind of fake. She is laden with plastic surgery, and she doesn't deny it. And in August of 2011, while talking to the British newspaper, The Guardian, she admitted, this is a quote from her, "If something is bagging, sagging, or dragging, I'll tuck it, pluck it, or suck it." It's like what I always say, I may look fake, but I am real where it counts. Amen. And I totally agree. And although I have never met Miss Parton, nor have I ever spoken to her, I have a deep respect for her courage to be genuine, authentic, fakey, incredible self. You've got, on some level, to admire that. Dolly Parton once said, and I know this is true, when I was at the gift shop, I bought this on a tea towel. I was so inspired by this one bit of wisdom. This is what she said. "It's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world." Now just pause and think about that for a moment. If there's anybody that comes off more rhinestoney, it's Dolly Parton. But she is genuinely, authentically herself. It's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world. And I do imagine she has had many opportunities throughout her life to be other than what she is. It's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world. And as we think about that, at first glance, it may sound humorous and maybe even a little charming, just like Dolly herself. But coming from her, the statement is quite a paradox. But yet beneath those words lies a deeply spiritual truth. A diamond sparkles brilliantly. It catches the light and looks valuable. But a rhinestone has no light of its own. It doesn't reflect light, and ultimately it is an imitation of what a diamond is. A diamond's value, a diamond's true value comes from source. Its ability to magnify and reflect light. We are surrounded by messages telling us who we should be, what we should own, how we should look, and how successful we should appear. And the world will often celebrate that image over substance, performance over authenticity, and approval over truth. In many ways, in most ways, we do live in a rhinestone world. Unity's second principle teaches us something radically different from what the world teaches. We are spiritual beings created in the image and likeness of Source, of God. Our value does not come from the world. Our value comes from divine Source. We are not rhinestones trying to become diamonds. We are already diamonds, awakening to our true nature. In traditional Christianity, Christ is often viewed exclusively as the historical Jesus. And Unity honors Jesus while also teaching that Christ is the divine potential present in every person. Charles Fillmore described the Christ as the divine idea of humanity in expression. The Christ is not something we earn, it is our spiritual identity. And Jesus understood this truth more fully than anyone. He did not point people towards external power. He pointed them inward. He invited them to discover their own divine nature. Principle 2 teaches that beneath every fear, every mistake, every wound, and every limitation, there is an image of God. Like a diamond buried beneath layers of dirt, our Christ nature remains untouched. Dirt may hide it, but the dirt cannot destroy it. Likewise, in Unity, we are not trying to become Christ. We are allowing the Christ already within us to be revealed, to magnify and reflect the light already within each of us, our true, authentic selves. And Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore Wright wrote, Christ is the true spiritual self of every individual. That understanding will move us from striving to awakening, from imitation to authenticity. A diamond cannot create its own light. A diamond was designed to receive light, reflect light, and reveal its light. Without light, even the most precious diamond can still sit unnoticed. But when light shines upon it, its true beauty is revealed. Now, that's why when you go to jewelry stores, all the cases with diamonds have light on them, okay? But the same is true for us. The Christ within us is the divine light of God seeking expression through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Notice that Jesus did not say, "Someday you may become the light." He said, "You are the light." And this is a statement of spiritual identity. Jesus was reminding his followers of what Unity's second principle teaches, that every person is created in the image and likeness of God and therefore carries the divine light within. Too often we imagine that spiritual growth means becoming something we are not. I'm going to pause here and tell another personal story. I once attended a church when I was in my youth. And, you know, it's traditional church. You had to have a conversion. You had to have a conversion experience. Then you had to be baptized. Then you had to be sanctified. And it's like I left that church because I knew I was never going to be the image they wanted me to be. I was never going to fit up to what their standards of living a Christian life was. And so often we do that to one another. We do that in different faith traditions. We do that in different lifestyles. We're just passing all this judgment. Most of it unintentionally because we're unaware of our own biases. Too often we imagine that spiritual growth means becoming something we are not. But in truth, spiritual growth is allowing our inner light to shine unobstructed. Fear will cover light. Resentment will cover your light. Self-doubt covers light. And judgment covers light. But none of these things, not your fear, your judgments, your mistakes, all these things, nothing can extinguish the light within you. The Christ light remains. And just as a diamond sparkles when turned towards the sun, our lives shine when we turn toward God. Prayer will turn us towards light. Meditation will turn us towards light. And more than anything, love will turn us towards the light. And when we allow the divine light to shine through us, we become what Jesus described, the light of the world. And it's not because we're seeking attention, okay? And it's not because we're trying to be extraordinary, but because Christ within us naturally radiates wisdom, compassion, peace, and love. And one of the most fascinating things about diamonds is that they are formed under tremendous pressure. And they don't come from comfort. They don't come from comfort. They come from transformation. And the same is true spiritually. Many of us discover our true Christ nature not during the easy seasons of life, but during the times of challenge. The very experiences we wish we had never had becomes the circumstances that reveals our spiritual strength. And when that pressure comes, we will discover what we truly are made of. The Apostle Paul wrote, "We have this treasure in earthen vessels. The treasure is already within us, and the pressure simply reveals it." The challenge is that rhinestones are everywhere. A rhinestone world will tell us you are what you achieve. You are what you earn. You are what others think of you. You are your mistakes. How many times have we heard that? You are your mistakes. You are your age. Now that I'm getting older, boy, is that uncomfortable. You are your limitations. And these messages, after a time, we start to believe and they become hypnotic. Over time, we will or we may forget who we are. And Myrtle Fillmore refused to accept those messages. When told that she had an incurable disease, she began to affirm, "I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness." She wasn't denying appearances. She was affirming a deeper reality. She chose the diamond over the rhinestone. She chose spiritual truth over worldly evidence. She chose Christ consciousness over fear, and that choice transformed her life. And consider the temptation of Jesus. The tempter repeatedly invited him to prove himself. We are repeatedly invited to prove ourselves. Our worth, our job performance, our bank account. Prove yourself. Turn stones into bread. Throw yourself from the temple. Gain worldly power. And each temptation was essentially the same. Find your value in appearances. But yet Jesus refused. Jesus already knew who he was. He didn't need external validation, and at his baptism a voice declared, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." And I want to remind you that this was before he performed any miracles, before he preached his first sermon or message, before he accomplished anything. His identity was already established, and that is true for us. That is true for us. It's before anything we can achieve, before anything we can be successful, before we can impress anyone. We are the beloved expressions of God. Have you ever noticed, and for those who do like the sparkly things, have you ever noticed that a diamond doesn't compete with rhinestones? It doesn't argue. It doesn't defend itself. And it simply lets its light shine. Many people spend their lives, their entire lives, trying to prove their worth. The spiritual path invites us to remember our worth. And there is a difference. When we know who we are, comparison will lose its grip. We no longer need to outshine others. We no longer need to seek the approval of others. And we no longer need to wear our mask. The Christ within us is secure. The Christ within us is whole. The Christ within us is enough. You are enough. So if we are already divine by nature, then why do spiritual practices matter? Why does it matter? Like, okay, I'm just got Christ in me. Okay? Because our practices keep us polished. Polished. Prayer polishes. Meditation polishes. Compassion polishes. Gratitude polishes. Service will polish. Polish the diamond that is already there. And this practice will just help us to see more clearly. Each time we choose love over fear, another layer is removed. Each time we forgive, another layer falls away. And each time we enter the silence, we reconnect with our true identity. So let's take a moment and just spend a few brief moments meditating. Just gently close your eyes or soften your gaze, and with intention, relax your neck and shoulders. Survey your body anywhere you might be holding some tension, and just breathe into it and slowly release. Any cares or concerns you have this morning, just release them. And gently imagine releasing all the roles that you play. And release all the labels that you carry. Just breathe in to this present moment. Using your power of imagination, see a beautiful diamond in your hands. Now imagine this diamond in your heart, resting gently, becoming illuminated by the Christ light, shining outward. It's so brilliant and so pure and so radiant. It is safe. Nothing can damage it. It is safe. Nothing can diminish it. It rests in your heart, and nothing can take it away. Feel the warmth. And silently affirm with me, if you please, I am created in the image and likeness of God. The Christ light shines within me. I release all false ideas about myself. I am whole, worthy, and beloved. The diamond of divine truth shines through me now. I choose to remember the diamond within. I trust the Christ within. I am the light of the world, and the light of God shines through me. And as you continue to breathe, feel this light shining through you into the world. Take a few deep breaths. And when you are ready, bring your awareness back to this time and space. When you leave here today, the rhinestone world will be waiting. Social media will still compare. Advertisements will still persuade. Fear will still whisper. But you can choose differently. You can remember. You can remember that you are more than your personality. You are not just a body, and you are not your history. Okay? You are a spiritual being. You are a child of God. You are an expression of divine life. You are the Christ in expression. And every day will become an opportunity to let that inner diamond shine. I got to tell you, I do have a certain respect for Dolly Parton. I do. I think she's one of those unspoken sages. And I also, in my research, read a quote where someone asked her what her religion was. And she said, well, I grew up Christian, but I'm not a religious person. She goes, I practice gratitude. She goes, I am so grateful. And then she listed some of the things she was grateful for. And for me, the practice of gratitude and living authentically is the basic lifestyle of those who seek. So we close in prayer. Loving presence, we give thanks for the divine light that lives within each of us. And we remember our true identity. And when the world tempts us to settle for appearances, we are reminded of our spiritual nature. When we forget our worth, we awaken again to the image and likeness of God. We walk confidently as the radiant expressions of divine love that we are. We shine authentically, compassionately, with wisdom and grace. And may the diamond of Christ's consciousness bless all whom we meet. And so it is. Amen.